Welcome to Carlton's Math Corner. Today we are going to be working with algebraic equations. To begin, please make sure that you have your math journal out as well as your vocabulary packet. It is very important that you are taking notes as well as writing down any reflection questions you have or any thoughts that you have when you're learning this new information. In addition, please make sure that you are recording any vocabulary terms with their definitions as well as a sketch. Today, we are going to be solving simple equations mentally, and we need to talk about what does that mean to solve something. And to solve is just to find the answer of something that is unknown. And in this case, we are going to be solving for variables, and we learned about variables in our last video when we talked about evaluating expressions. Today, we're going to be focusing though on equations, and we're going to actually find the answer to them mentally, meaning we're going to use our prior knowledge, and we are not going to use a calculator. We are going to use what we know and just use our brains, and we're going to solve this together. So let's start off by defining equation. Equation is a math sentence with numbers of variables, sometimes even more than one variable, operations, and an equal sign. And so below you'll see the first one is an equation, and I want you to notice that we have the right side of the equation as well as the left side. And then I want you to notice that below it you'll see a symbol, and I want you to think to yourself, like, what's the first thought that popped into your mind? Like, what does that look like? Well, I hope many of you said a scale, because a scale is something that keeps the left balanced to the right. So in order to keep it completely balanced, we need to make sure that the left side is the same as the right side. And that is exactly what we want to do with an equation. We want to make sure that the left side is the same as the right side. And so if we look at this, our left side right now says 18, which is equal to 14 plus t. And so our job is to solve for t and try to figure out what number would t have to be in order to make this true and to make it balanced. How could we make the right side the same as the left side? So I'm going to let you think about that. What number, so some number plus 14 is going to equal 18? I'm hoping that you said 4, because if I put a 4 in here, we have 14 plus 4 is the same as 18. And so that works. And the way that we write the answer is t equals 4. Now, some of you maybe perform some operation in your head in order to get 4. What could you do with the 18 and the 14 to get to the 4? Yeah, you could subtract them. 18 minus 14 is 4. And subtraction, how is that related to addition? Exactly, they are opposite of each other. And in math terms, we call them inverse operations. They are operations that are opposite of each other. And so addition and subtraction are inverse operations, And then division and multiplication are inverse operations. And we can use that knowledge in order to find missing numbers. How about this one? Here's the left side of my equation and then the right side of my equation, and I need to figure out p minus 5, so some number minus 5 is 20. And what would that number be? What could I do with the 20 and the 5 to get another number here? Thinking of inverse operations, opposites. What could I do if you can't think of a number? Maybe I could do something with those two numbers to get to that secret number. Yeah, 25. You were right. Oops. So 25 would work. 25 minus 5, that is the same as 20. So I would write my answer as P equals 25. And those of you that took 20 plus 5, that is one way to get that 25. How about this one? This is 8 is equal to 4. And remember, when a number is next to a variable, it means times. So this is 8 is equal to 4 times some number. So how could we get the right side to be the same as the left side? And I'm going to actually put parentheses around our answer because remember when we talked about powers and when we evaluated expressions, a number next to parentheses means multiplication. And so if we look at this, 4 times 2 would equal 8. And so our secret number, V, is 2. How about this one? The left side is 11 times something is equal to 22. What number would make that statement true? We want the sentence to work and be balanced. So 11 times 2, you were right. 11 times 2 is equal to 22. And so we write it as n equals 2. Lastly, when we look at a sentence that looks like this, remember this line, and we learned this when we were talking about rational numbers, how all rational numbers can be written as a fraction, and fractions have these lines. Remember, the top, or we call the numerator, is divided by the bottom, the denominator, or down in the basement. The 7 is down in the basement. So this means some number divided by 7 is equal to 3. Or another way I like to look at it, division is basically a number divided into 7 equal parts, and each part is going to be 3. So if I take some number and divide it into 7 equal parts, I need to get 3 in each one of those parts. What would that be? And you can even think of what's the opposite or the inverse operation of division. That could be one way that you could figure out what W is, because we can do something with the 7 and the 3 to get that number. And yes, the answer is 21. So 21, because 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, that is 21. So 21 divided by 7 is 3. And so the left is now balanced with the right. So we write it as W equals 21. Last, we have some number divided by 4 is 8. And so we could think of it as I took some number, divided it into 4 equal parts. 4 equal parts. And what is that number? And the answer is 32. 32 divided by 4 is 8. And I can write it as y equals 32. Here are your ticket problems for the evening. Thank you so much for joining me at Carlton's Math Corner, and I look forward to meeting with you again to learn our next target.